My name is Nicholas Barrios, and if you ever lived in Florida, you should know what Castillo de San Marcos is. It's built by the Spanish in St. Augustine, and it was used to defend the east coast of Florida as well as the Atlantic slave trade. It's a multicultural intersection of Native Americans, African Americans, Spanish, Floridians, even the British at one point. It carries a lot of history, a lot of impact. As for the public history, in 1924, it was made a national monument by the National Park Service. That means it's maintained, it's fixed, it's whatever has to be done to make sure it stays in the condition as it was to preserve the history and the beautifulness of it. They do reenactments, tours, guides, interpretive programs, all these things to make sure that the history of this place is not forgotten. It is used in local schools around the Castillo de San Marcos. They teach the history of it, and then kids can go there and learn and put the stuff they work in the classroom to work and see it with their own eyes. As for the preservation of Castillo de San Marcos, like I said earlier, it was declared a national park in 1924. That means no expansions, nothing like that can go on. They got architects, preservationists, all these sort of guys to make sure that everything stays exactly how it was. If something goes wrong, they're there to fix it and fix it accurately to the history. For example, the coquina walls, it was built out of coquina. They did that so that the cannon shots would be absorbed during battle. It also protected it from weather hazards. Being on the coast, it's exposed to salinity, humidity, all these sorts of things, especially in Florida. We all know about that. They use a strategy called repointing. They take the old mortar that's been eroded by water, weather, salinity in the air, whatever, and they replace it with the actual stuff they used. So it's a lime-based coquina, and they'll make sure it's intact and accurate with the history of the place. It's got multiple different historical interpretations. The first one being the Spanish ingenuity when building it. For example, the coquina walls. No one knew it was going to work. Everybody built their forts out of cobblestone or wood or that sort of thing. But wood catches on fire, cobblestone would break by cannon shots. Coquina was kind of an experiment, and they used it at Castillo de San Marcos. It's kind of like a giant sandcastle. And it worked. The cannon shots would bounce right off it or just get absorbed about 2 or 3 feet in. Luckily for them, the walls are about 19 feet thick, so it was virtually impenetrable. It traded hands a couple times, but the Spanish ingenuity in building there is on full display. Another interpretation would be the use of the Castillo de San Marcos as a prison. During the Seminole War, Americans would put Seminoles in there, and it was kind of like a boot camp. A well-known Seminole that was in there is Osceola. They would it's forced assimilation. So what that means is they taught the Native Americans how to learn, speak, write, and read in English, and they taught them to believe in Christianity. It kind of plays into the whole themes about America's oppressiveness and their expansion into the New World and their dominance for it. As for a field trip to Castillo de San Marcos, I think it's a beautiful place, and it has a lot of historical value. It has those immersive guides and tours, and they all dress up in costumes, and it feels like you're actually living in that time. It's a good experience for kids to actually get a feel for what they're learning inside the classroom. They have hands-on activities like artifacts, like you can handle artifacts that were there at the time. You can look at real cannons, real walls, real things they actually used, as well as architectural digs, archaeological digs, and they use that to reinforce those ideas that they learn in the classroom. From the National Park Service, to reinforce the ideas about the cannonballs, it says, instead of shattering, the coquina stones merely compressed and absorbed the shock of the cannonball hit. It really is a marvel of architectural and cultural integrity, and I think it's worth a field trip. Thank you.